It's Cora again, and welcome to another weapons guide. Today we're going to be deep diving into a weapon that is both a rifle and a squad automatic weapon, the DRS-IAR, which is commonly known as the M27 IAR used by the United States Marine Corps, developed from the HK416 by Hecker & Koch. A very versatile weapon able to adapt to most combat ranges. Starting with a base damage of 25, the IAR would take 4 shots to kill, hitting on the upper and lower body. With a rate of fire of 771, its time to kill would take 233 milliseconds at 0 meters, making it a very strong contender. Beyond 21 meters, its damage will drop down to 20, requiring 5 shots now to kill and changing its time to kill to 311 milliseconds, which is still pretty fast. And beyond 75 meters, the damage will drop down to 16.7, needing 6 shots and changing its time to kill to 389 milliseconds, which is pretty good since the IAR is easy to control. Coming with a headshot multiplier of times 1.34, hitting on the head would change the base damage to 33.5. If you land 3 shots in the head up to 21 meters, its time to kill is 156 milliseconds, which is insanely fast, giving your enemies no chance to react. But beyond 21 meters, its headshot damage will drop down to 26.8, and further than 75 meters, its headshot damage will drop down to 22.3. But if you equip the hollow point rounds, that headshot multiplier will increase up to times 1.5, increasing that damage to 37.5 up to 21 meters. Beyond 21 meters, its damage will drop down to 30, and beyond 75 meters, that damage drops down to 25. This will extend its 4-shot kill range beyond 150 meters. Assuming you can land all 4 shots onto the head, that is. And if you equip the synthetic tips, that headshot multiplier changed to times 1.75, further increasing that damage to 48.3 up to 21 meters, and dropping to 35 damage up to 75 meters, and finally at 29.2 damage beyond that range. This will extend your 3-shot kill range up to 75 meters, which is awesome, assuming you can land all 3 shots onto the head. But let's be real, is it worth using the hollow point and the synthetic tips? If we combine headshots and body shots, as long as they're 21 meters or less, both rounds will only require 2 headshots and 1 body shot to gain that 156 millisecond time to kill. But when you're at 21 to 75 meter range, neither will allow you to regain that 3-shot kill range potential, mixing with body shots, and you will still need at least 4 shots. Only the synthetic tip does let you get that 3 headshot kill range up to 75 meters. Overall, I just don't find the hollow points are not worth using. There is no changes to the shots to kills from close to medium range. The synthetic tech does have a use, but remember, you are paying an additional 25 cost, which will leave you only 40 points left to spend on other attachments, assuming your IAR doesn't even have a scope. Considering how easy the weapon is to control and it is a forgiving weapon, I would rather you just aim for the body and just don't waste your precious milliseconds trying to aim for the head up close. Now, let's head down to the weapon's handling. Normal reload is at 2.466 seconds, and an empty reload time will be exactly at 3 seconds. ADS speed is at 366 milliseconds, faster compared to the other belt-like machine guns, but slower compared to the assault rifles. That ADS speed will drop down to 300 milliseconds if you're using it on the support. We can drop that ADS speed down to 250 milliseconds with the right attachments, and putting it on the support, it will go down further to 200 milliseconds, which is huge. Draw speed time switching from your pistol to the IAR and firing is going to be at 716 milliseconds, which is quite slow. Sprint of fire time from firing from the hip is going to be at 183 milliseconds, which is decent compared to most guns. Looking at its hip fire, it is pretty decent up close, but it's no winner against better weapons. For the recoil pattern when ADSing, it will gradually go up and slightly shift to the right. This is a weapon that is easy to manage when firing in full auto, and with the right attachments, it will pose no issues in controlling. Burst firing in 2 rounds is also manageable, reducing its recoil to be much tighter and effective at further ranges with a rate of fire up to 480. And firing in single shots makes it easier to tap fire much further, with a rate of fire of 420. The match tracker does improve its single shot recoil to be tighter, but is such a small bonus, you are better off using those 50 points into other attachments. Overall, the IAR is an easy weapon to control. No need special help in aiming for the nutsacks, just aim center mass at your enemy's body. When we factor in range and velocity, the 16.5 barrel is pretty good overall with a solid velocity speed. If we switch to the 20 barrel, at distance, the time travel reduction change is quite small. Even at 100 meter range, it is just a 28 milliseconds difference. Personally, the basic barrel is more than enough. And if we look at the 14.5 barrel at 576 velocity, we can see that beyond 75 meters, it will start to have an impact at further ranges. you're best using this barrel up close and benefiting from a better hipfire spread. Now, this time to kill is based on the rate of fire at 771. Assuming you hit all your shots, which we know it's not going to happen all the time, so it is not a realistic time to kill stats at further ranges. So after testing firing the weapons in 2 bursts, its rate of fire will be at 480, which will change the time to kill for all barrels to a more realistic number, which we can see here with the stats I've made. But the real shock is when I test the firing in single shots. If you have a fast finger trigger, it will have a rate of fire of 420, which is fast and the weapon is still really accurate. If you wish to just aim for headshots, this gun can do pretty good with the synthetic rounds, but just remember, your enemies are not going to be staying still all the time. Now let's look at the recoil patterns where we start adding attachments to the IAR, starting with the muzzles. Just a reminder, flash hiders, standard suppressors and CQB suppressors will not change your recoil pattern and will be the same regardless. Single and double port brakes have similar recoil patterns, just pick the cheaper one. Linear comm does help with the horizontal recoil, but considering that the IAR is so easy to manage its recoil, there is absolutely no reason to be running the converter, just avoid it completely. The compensator brake is going to be the most impactful muzzle, as we can see here. Even that spread is tightened up so well when fired at full auto, it's a pretty no-brainer muzzle to pick. But when it comes to the long and lightened suppressors, its recoil reduction is very similar to the compensator brake. If you have the points, just pick either of the 2 suppressors. And why would I encourage to use the suppressors? Well, if you equip a brake, converter or no muzzles, you will be 3D spotted in world if an enemy has line of sight of you and a red diamond marker will pop right on top of your head. Flash hiders will prevent you being 3D spotted, but you will still be revealed on the minimap. The suppressors is going to be the biggest change, as it will hide you from both 3D spotting and popping from the minimap, as long as you're 15 meters away. This will matter if you're flanking a lot, cause it will help to conceal your movements if you wish to play aggressive. A quick reminder before we go into the grips, many of them will suffer from ADS accuracy penalties when moving, which results in less accuracy when shooting on the move when you're in ADS. Now, let's take a look at the vertical grips. As you can see, looking from left to right, the vertical recoil are decreasing the more expensive the grips are costing. If we compare the 6H64 and the classic grip, both recoil patterns are very identical, and considering the IAR is an easy weapon to control, just avoid using the classic to save yourself 10 points on other attachments. And the alloy verticals will run the benefit of no ADS accuracy penalties when moving. Next is the stubby grips. It is the same case scenario like the vertical grips with the benefit of a 50 millisecond ADS improvement to all stubby grips. If we looked at the steep and low profile, they are almost identical and there's absolutely no reason to be picking the low profile grip. Just save those points on more important attachments. And ripped is the only stubby grip that will not suffer from ADS accuracy penalties when moving. Overall, the stubby grips are just really expensive to invest. There are better options out there. And speaking of better options, here are the angle grips. All 3 will benefit from a 50 millisecond ADS improvement. Both the adjustable and slim angles have similar recoil patterns, with the benefit of the slim having no ADS accuracy penalties on the move. Even it's mentioned the angle grip benefits from a weapon draw speed, it is currently not working as intended. This will be the grips I will highly recommend, because it's going to be the most cost efficient, giving a 50 millisecond ADS and recoil improvement for an already easy manageable gun to control. And finally, we have the bipods with 3 of them inbuilt into a grip. Of course, the normal bipod attachment will not improve its recoil unless it's mounted, but looking at the 3 grip bipods, we can see all 3 have similar recoil reduction patterns. The difference is going to be for the QT grip, you won't suffer from ADS penalties, and the classic grip will improve on your ADS by 50 milliseconds. And of course, when you deploy your bipod, that recoil reduces and tightens up a lot. Plus, the IAR is a very easy gun to control, you can fire it at full auto, until you ran dry out of your 30 round magazine. Onto the hipfire, and speaking of bipods, of course it's not going to improve its hipfire unless you mount the weapon. You won't really be doing this much, but hey, it's a good to know basis if you need to fire the gun ASAP when mounted. Next, we are going to be looking at the lasers. Starting from the red laser, it is a small improvement, and when we come to the green and the blue, we can see the shots are starting to tighten up, but its patterns are really similar, and for some reason, the 50MW blue has a better improvement compared to the 120MW blue. Personally, the 5MW green is more than enough for most situations, but if you wish to run a full hipfire build, pick the 50MW blue. But If we combine the lasers with the flashlights, the first few initial shots will tighten up more since the flashlight will slow down the spread from increasing rapidly. Personally, the 5MW green is more than enough as the patterns are overall very similar, so save yourself some points for other important attachments. For scopes, any low magnification scopes from x1 to x3 is good enough. Pick any of those to your personal preference, but if you're not sure, take the ROM or the 1P87. Those two scopes will give good field of vision when you're ADSing in. Or, a good mix would be the SU230, a new scope that was added in for Season 1, and it comes with a x1 x4 zoom with really good view. Only turn-off part is that it has a cyan tint on it, which some will find it annoying. If you have some spare points left, get yourself either one of the fast mags to reduce that reload time. Stay away from the hollow points. Its benefits are really minor, but you can go for the synthetic tips as they will let you kill your enemies in 3 shots to the head up to 75 meter range. Just remember, it is a really expensive upgrade. Now, let's talk about the attachment recommendations. This is going to be the build I'll be running if I wish to PTFO and actually get really serious. Long suppressors is going to help me flank and keep my profile low from being spotted. Plus, it gives a recoil reduction and is cheaper than the lightened suppressor considering both have almost the same recoil patterns. The basic barrel and adjustable angle grips will drop my ADS to 250 and at 200 milliseconds if you're running on the support, which is huge, which is turning it into an assault rifle ADS speed. Also, that adjustable angle grip does help reduce my recoil down too, and I don't see the need for other grips considering this weapon's recoil is easy to manage for me. 5MW green laser is more than enough despite the stats showing it's at 46. Do not fully believe those stats. I'm running the SU230 because it is a x1 and x1 zoom, which gives me the flexibility to adapt to any ranges. A 30 round fast magazine to cut that reload speed down to 2.183 seconds. Lastly, I'm adding the rail cover cause I got 5 points left and I'm just purely going for the aesthetics cause it just looks cool. If you don't need the rail cover, you can remove it and use those 5 points to change the barrel to either the 20 LE for better velocity, or change to the 14.5 carbine barrel if you see yourself up close and improving that hipfire even more. Overall, this is a very versatile jack of all trade build, with good recoil reduction, able to adapt to most situations and can hold its ground even up against the best weapons at their peak combat ranges. But if you're either struggling to control the recoil or wish to tighten up its spread, get the compensator brake and the 6H64 vertical grip at least. This too will drop that recoil down a lot, which will make it really easy to full auto and blast your enemies to smithereens. This will give you 20 points to spare, and you can either switch to the long suppressor if you wish to keep a low profile, or switch the grip to the stiffed stubby grip to have similar recoil control and dropping your ADS speed down to 250 milliseconds, which will take some time grinding to unlock that stubby grip. And looking at its new recoil pattern, it is a huge improvement, making the gun really easy to just hold the trigger and manage that recoil down. And finally, if I wish to enjoy the game and not care too much about the so-called meta builds, take the M27 IAR build that is used by the USMC in real life. This is one of the builds they use and the closest I can figure out based on aesthetics alone. Of course, there isn't going to be much recoil improvements, but the M27 is really easy for me to manage that recoil, and I also just don't care cause I will perform great in a gun that I enjoy. You don't need to listen to YouTubers like me saying, "Ooh, this build is the meta, it's great, my opinion is right and you're wrong." Nope. Just pick something you like and you will eventually adapt to the weapons changes and start enjoying the game as intended. That covers for the DRS-IAR. Overall, it is a fantastic weapon that is so versatile that lets you build into whatever you want and you will do really well on it and stand its ground against the best weapons at their peak ranges. Its performance is basically the M16 IAR from Battlefield 3 with a slower ADS speed that can be easily mitigated. Don't be afraid to use it. Pick the attachments you like and you will do well with this gun. As always, let me know what you think about the IAR. What attachments do you love running with it and what's your playstyle with it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Also, feel free to use the range if you want exact figures on the damage and ranges when testing weapons. Community code is Z3QJK. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you wish to get notified for future weapon guides, or join my Discord if you wish to discuss anything Battlefield or Broken Arrow. I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback and I'll catch you all next time.